Welcome to another episode of Xah Talk Show. Today is 2021, July 5th. Welcome everyone. And we're gonna do emacs, and I'm gonna give you some reviews of my new toys, okay? Some emacs and review of new toys. If you have questions, post it. I'll get to it, okay? So it's gonna be kind of randomish. Hello, Float, P, and Bart, and Giuliano. Okay, so let's begin. Let's begin at the beginning. Okay, so I want to do some, let me show you, okay, note. So some emacs and new toys, pen computing, okay. So you can see, I'm gonna do kind of a review of these things, okay? So you can see these different tips of the pen, and I got a Logitech trackball, okay? I'm gonna talk all about it. But first, I guess emacs then, emacs. So there's something I want to do, okay? So emacs format lines, okay? So let me show you. Go to XahT's talk show, today's talk show, paste it here, show in browser, and then you can see, so there is a command, xah-reformat lines, xah-reformat lines, okay? We are going to do emacs lisp coding. I'm going to modify that code, but first of all, let me explain what is going on with that, what does that command do? Okay, let me show you. So this command, so you see I have a giant buffer. So here's a long line, more than 80 characters. So I can press a key. Let's do this, okay? So let's put it here and remove that. You can see all my command codes on the pink window. So you can see this is a long line, okay? Oops. What? Talk, hold on, hotkey. So so you can see here's a long line, and I can press the button. Press the button, there it is. And that command, that button is this command, xah-reformat lines, okay? Now back to Emacs browser, you can see now there are less than 80 characters per line, okay? Let's turn on ruler, show ruler. Emacs has a ruler. You can see here's 80 characters. So you press again, it'll toggle it back. Now, some of you Emacs users might be wondering, hey, Xah, there is already a field command. Why do you have to write your own? Are you trying to be different? Just for the sake of being different? No, there's a problem with the Emacs field command. Let me explain, okay? So first of all, let me demonstrate the Emacs field command. Okay, so you see, again, here's a long line. Then you call the command metax field. It's got several problems. First of all, field region, field paragraph, okay? So let's call field region. But first of all, you need to select it. That's a pain. So you have to select it, otherwise it doesn't work, okay? For example, let's try without selection, field region. Field region, you see? That is a command. You do it. Did it work? It didn't work. Still long line, okay? So you have to select it, then call field region. Then it's less than 80 characters, you can see. So that command is built in, okay? That command is built in, field region, okay? There are several versions of it. Anyway, I want to, I can give you explanation why the default Emacs sucks. It sucks in multiple ways, okay? With technicality, okay? No bullshit. It sucks in multiple ways. Now, let me check if I'm like alive and well. Audio is well, video is well, okay? Okay, so let me just explain. Okay, so let's go to the source code of these, okay? So describe key, then you see the documentation of this command. There it is. And go to xah keys, that's the source code. Then you can see here is the command. Okay, magnify. So here's the command. Now let's narrow to region. oops, wait, not that one, this one. Okay, so I have several versions. You know, if I explain everything, it's gonna take an hour. So anyway, here's the source code. Then there's a corresponding page on my website. So let's go to it. Here is the HTML source code. Shrink the window, show in browser. So you can see there it is. Okay, reformat lines to source code. So you can grab, you know, reformat lines for source code. Okay, I'm going to explain why the distinction for source code. So this command is actually specifically designed when you want to compact, you know, when you want to make the truncate lines, you know, the add new line characters to, so that lines are no longer than 70 or 80 characters. This command is specifically designed to work in source code. That is one of the major difference between my command and the Emacs built-in commands called fill something. Okay, so anyway, let me explain the whole. Okay, so Emacs has fill region. It has several problems. For example, it will. So for example, when you think about, okay, let's copy that. Let's go to my Emacs blog. Let's add a new entry, paste the file path here, and make a link so that I can go to that there later. Okay, so close that. Now you can see, yeah, let me explain what's going on with the Emacs, the default Emacs command problems. Okay. Yeah, so the Emacs, so I explained in this page. Okay, so let's go to let's copy the URL, go to talk show, and today's talk show, and go down here and paste the link, and paste the file path and make a link, so you can see we have later on you can see that's a topic we talked about. But okay, let me explain. So go back to the page. So what is the so what is the problem of Emacs fill commands? Okay, I have full detail on this page. Several problems. In fact, I have full detail. I mean, this page only explains part of the problem. In fact, there's let's see. Okay, so let me explain. First of all, you know, user interface wise, it's no good, because like we showed you before, you have to make a selection first. That's you don't have to, because when you don't have a selection, just let Emacs to work on the current, you know, the current paragraph, you know, whatever the current text block. You don't have to. For example, I call my command. You see, it actually toggles. Emacs doesn't have this toggle feature. Several problems. Okay, let me explain. First of all, in Emacs, the Emacs fill command. Okay, let me show you. Okay, so apropos. Okay, so let's see, apropos, search for command. Okay, fill. Okay, let me show you all. You see, now you can see here is a list of commands that contains the word fill. Okay, and let me show you. Okay, so let's make a new paragraph. So you can see it's fairly complex. So I'm talking about Emacs problems. Then you have a a version for just C. Then you have fill individual paragraph, fill uniform. Then you have the fill paragraph. Then you have fill region. You see, then you have fill region as paragraph, blah 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 blah, JavaScript fill paragraph. Okay, so you can see, and then you have a Lisp fill paragraph. So first of all, what does this fill mean? First, okay, problem. Okay, let me explain the Emacs problem. Emacs problem. Emacs command. Emacs problem of commands that does let's say toggle new toggle new line into multiple shorter lines. Okay, copy that. Let's go to XahTV talk show. So emacs problem. Okay, so emacs problem. So first, okay, name problem, confusing. It calls it feel. Okay, that's a problem. Feel. What the fuck is it? Is that? If you don't know, if you haven't dived in Emacs for 10 years, you don't know what that is. Why is it called feel? Feel what? Feel. You know, feel. Then, okay, that's the first problem. Then another problem, user interface problem. User have to select text first. Okay, so that's a user interface problem. Okay, then another problem. This problem is multiple versions, multiple variations of the command. Very confusing. Okay, so you can see you have field paragraph, you have field region, then you have field region as paragraph. I think that's new actually. Let's look at what that is. So when is this added? Did it say it? Oh, this is old actually. So anyway, so multiple variations of the command problem. Okay, then you have, then apparently you have a version specific for each programming language. So you can see C field paragraph and JavaScript C field paragraph, JavaScript C field paragraph, then JavaScript field paragraph. What the fuck is the difference? I don't know. I don't use them. And then you have a list field paragraph. Okay, confusing names, very confusing. So okay, so we talked about several of the problems, and one more. Okay, let me just wrap one more. I'm not going to cover everything because one more, the no unfield command. Okay, so what does that mean? So for example, if you have a field, for example, you want to toggle, right? So you can see here. So you can see here's a long line. You can toggle. You can cut it. Okay, let's make this long, very long line. Okay, so very long line. If I use my command, I can press a single key. It'll just toggle it. Now, if you use Emacs, you cannot do that. You can. Okay, for example, you select it, then field region, then unfield. There is no unfield command. Okay, so what if you want to make it into a long line again? Well, you have to first of all, let me show you the extreme tediousness. Okay, the Emacs idiots, not typical Emacs user idiots, the Emacs elite hacker idiots. They are the people who write Emacs blog, Emacs wiki. They tell you what to do. Whenever you criticize something, they will tell you, you are idiot. You should this or that. It is those people that creates this kind of problem. So I listed problem here. So for example, so I want to truncate this. If I use my command, you can see the pink window. Watch the pink window. I can press a single key, it just toggles. Okay, xah-reformat-lines. But if I on Emacs, first of all, I selected field region. Then if I want to make it into one line, there's no way. This is what you have to do. You have to call set field column. Okay, set field column. That's a variable that tells Emacs how much what is the width you want to cut. Okay, so set width, set field column, and then you have to say 1 million. Okay, now you have set the field column to 1 million. Okay, now you call the field again. So now select again, call field region, do it. Now that's one single long line. Okay, so so it's a user interface problem. Lots of problems. The Emacs. Okay, Emacs is that way because of the Emacs elite hackers. Those leaders, they tell you what to do. They refuse to change. when you criticize them, they'll say, "Oh, why don't you go use Notepad?" The fuckheads, those are fuckheads. Whenever you want to improve Emacs user interface, Emacs is 40 years old. Whenever you do, then immediately it'll become, "Why don't you go use Notepad?" These Emacs fuckheads. Okay. So several problems, I have articles. I have quite a, not just this article. I have another article, describe all these problems. But they don't, it's impossible to get them to change. So problems. We have not finished with the problems yet. There's one more problem. Okay. So far we discussed several user interface and naming problems. Now there's more serious problems. For example, if you are in source code, for example, this one. So what's the problem? Normally when you cut a line, for example, this one. Okay, let's show white space. So now you can see the white space. Okay. Now when you want to compact into compact into one line, or set it to, wait, hold on a second. Field region. So once you set field region, it fucked up. You have to set field column again. Okay, so set field column. Even my command is fucked because I need to change that, because my command is relying on the field column, for compatibility reasons. So let's change the field column to 80 again. Okay. Now my command works again. You see, why does it rely on field column? Because field column is a width, so it kind of allows users to specify, normally like how shorter you want the lines to be. That's why I rely on that. But thinking about it, I probably should modify it so that you have a separate independent variable for the width, maybe. Okay. Anyway, so you see what this command, basically what it does in a technical way of explanation is that it basically adds the new line return character into appropriate places. That's all it does. Either add that or remove that. For example, you see this paragraph, I can delete that, then delete that, then it becomes one line. Okay, essentially that's what it does. Add or remove the new line characters. Okay. However, when you call emacs field command, that's not all it does. Sometimes it will introduce extraneous characters into your file. For example, let's look at this one. Okay, copy. So for example, I now have a long line. Now this line begins with a dash. Okay, now I try the emacs field command. Okay, so emacs field region. First of all, I need to select it. Then emacs field region coed. Okay, coed. Then you can see that it added 2 spaces in front to make it a line. Okay, let's undo. Let's try this. So if I have multiple spaces, let's select it, call field region. You see? Now turn off the space. You see, it adds extraneous things to your string. Not, besides just adding or removing the new line character. Okay, so that's one thing. So there's more. Okay, for example, this asterisk. Okay, let me show you this example. So again, okay, let me call my command. Okay, so let's let's add some more. Okay, paste. Okay, so you can see there's a long line. Okay, you see this is a long line. Now I'm going to call emacs command field region. Do it. Okay, so again it adds indentation. So wait, I want to show an example where it actually adds asterisks at every line. Okay, I have example here. Anyway, I'm not. Anyway, you can. So, I believe I've explained it well here. I'm going to duplicate. Yeah, asterisk deleted. Okay, so Yeah, okay, let me show you this then. So for example, this is your line, then you call field region, it's not going to change anything. Yeah, okay, so you see I have five lines here. Now let's narrow to region. Okay, so you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. Now if I call emacs field region, it becomes 4 lines, and it removed one of your asterisk. So essentially it fucks with your text. It fucks with, if you are in source code, then you got a problem. Then there's more examples. For example, if you have Chinese, it will add extra space into it. Okay, so that's essentially, okay, so that's some of the problems. Let me explain here. Let me add it adds or removes characters in your text other than new line. Okay, so that's some of the problems of the emacs built-in field command. Okay, then okay, so then okay, so here are some of the emacs field region commands. Okay, so that's the problem of the emacs field commands. Now, so that is why I have my version. My version doesn't have these problems, fixed most of these problems. Okay, so that's the source code. Now, there is something I want to do, which is what I'm going to do today, which is to modify this code to improve it, because I want some new features. Okay, update the blog date. So let's go to the source code. Okay, so we are going to begin emacs lisp coding. Let's go to the source code. So yeah, there it is, the source code. Now, okay, so here is the source code, and so what exactly is it I want to do? Let me explain. Okay, so let's say I have these long lines. Okay, I want it to be such that, for example, let's put some paren in it. Yeah, I want it to be so. Normally, if I call this command, if I call it, it will just toggle it like that, right? But sometimes in emacs lisp code, I want it to, for example, I want it to do it like that. Okay, you see, undo, redo, undo, redo. You see the difference? I want just to compact the text within parentheses. So one of the feature I want to add is that if the cursor is on a parenthesis, then just do that. Then just do that parenthesis. Because if I don't, because otherwise, right now, if I call the command, it's gonna compact. It's essentially gonna compact the whole thing. Let me show you. Okay, so for example, I put my cursor here or anywhere in this block. Call it. You see, it becomes that. So in emacs lisp, now I have to select it, then call it. Then it works only on that. So I want it to be, you don't have to select. You just, if the character is under cursor is a parenthesis or any bracket, then automatically just do within that bracket. Okay, that's one thing I want to add. Okay, let's just do that. Okay, so if we're gonna do that, that's gonna take another 20 minutes. Then we don't have time to explain the mouse or stuff. Should we because So should we do Emacs lisp coding or talk about mouse? Say it, okay? Answer. Because we've done a lot Emacs lisp coding in the past several videos. Without any answer, I'm just start to code it, okay? So first of all, you want to determine if the cursor is on a parenthesis. So what do you do? So let's expand. Let's copy that. Let's make a new buffer, paste it here, and let's copy the file name. Let's set it into XAH emacs list mod. Copy the file name and save the file. Save the file as that and date. Okay, so people want to see mouse. So let's talk about mouse because we have done Emacs Lisp coding a lot in my past videos. Okay, so let me just do this offline then. Yeah, let's talk about mouse and random. Okay, so post your questions now. Okay, let me clean up here. Then let's talk about mouse. Mouse and a bunch of things. Okay, so I went to shopping. So first of all, I got this. Okay, so here's my keyboard blog. So you have this fantastic do-it-yourself keyboard from a Japanese guy. You can see here's his Twitter link. So I don't know any details about this. It's in Japanese, but anyway, it's very interesting. It's pretty good. It's cool. It's cool. So you got a trackball there. So, but what I want to show you. Okay, so I got this. So yeah. So questions. So I got this. What am I going to do? I got this mouse. Oh yeah, I'm going to adjust my videos so you can see. Okay, let's see if I can do this here like that. Yeah, fuck. So at least you have some kind of bigger pictures. Okay, so I got this bad video. Okay, this Logitech, my video camera sucks donkey ass. So this Logitech, okay, to prevent my confusion, let me just list the topics I want to talk about. Okay, so Logitech M5575 variations, okay, or history. Then I want to say, okay, mouse versus trackball, okay. Then I want to say, yeah, so then this trackball. So this is actually not mouse versus trackball, but actually trackball versus programmable 10 buttons mouse. That's a big difference. Okay. So anyway, so this Logitech, they have several variations. So Logitech, so in the beginning, so we want to go to trackball. So you can see these three of them. So the one is very old. This one, Logitech 570, it's a classic. It's 10 years ago old. And this one is still popular. This one, Marble, Logitech Trackman Marble, which I have, but it's in the closet. Both of these are in closet. So the Marble is like 20 years old technology, but apparently people like it. So it's still, you can still buy it. And this one is basically defunct. And they Logitech replaced it with these two. So this one came out first, the Logitech MX Ergo. I don't have it, but I have tried it from a friend's. So this one is supposed to be much better in every way, and it turns out a lot of people don't actually find this better. They prefer, when they use this new one, they felt something is lost. They So this came out, MX Ergo came out in 2017, and in 2021, Logitech made this kind of remake of the 570. So a lot of people say, oh, this is actually the better one. But this one, the Ergo, MX Ergo, actually got more buttons and more features. For example, the scroll wheel, it's got tilt left and right, but this one doesn't. And, so I got this. Why do I buy? I have a fascination with trackballs. Right now, I don't have it set up. So actually, let's see if I can, the mouse. Okay, so actually, so let me turn back to my face. So actually, so let me take this out. So there is the USB thing, and I need to plug it in. Okay, then there is a little button you need to press to switch between the USB wireless dongle versus Bluetooth. So what is it now? Yeah, so there it is. So you can see as I move the mouse, the cursor moves. Okay, so now it's working. I have a fascination with trackball. Since 1990s, I always believed that the trackball is superior than the mouse. But in the past, since about 5 years ago, I bought this one. I bought this one in 10 years ago. So this one came out in 2004. I got it 10 years ago, 2009. And then I also got this one about 5 years ago, something like that. Then turns out the trackball is not better. Okay, so is it better? So mouse versus trackball. So I have full detail here. Let me just tell you. Okay, the trackball. First of all, you have to actually clean it every month, because if you don't, you need to pop this ball out. If you don't clean it, the trackball becomes slower. So it only takes like 5 seconds to clean, but that's still a problem. With mouse, you don't have a problem. You don't have that problem. Okay, so that's first issue. Then with the mouse, okay, I need to actually show you my hand on the mouse though. With the mouse, you see, I have to use my fingers much, which may cause, the thumb problem. You see, I'm using Hoover to click, which may cause thumb problem. But on the other hand, if I use the mouse, you see, okay. So if I use the mouse, usually I don't put my hands on it. If I want, I just move it, and I can have my mouse. I don't move my fingers. Rather, I just nudge it. Use the mouse. Nudge it. So in terms of kind of hand movement or ergonomics, mouse trackball is not necessarily better. Because for the mouse, if you use the mouse, you hold it the way you use the mouse with the right techniques, the mouse, and also with the Hoover, so you don't have to click, Hoover activation of the Windows. So for me, the mouse is actually more ergonomic. Even my mouse is not an ergonomic one. And also also as far as efficiency goes, for example, if you want the utmost efficiency, let me show you my articles. So a lot of people, especially gamers, they talk about, oh, which one is better, mouse for gaming, or you have to do it scientifically. So how do you do that? This game is perfect to test whether mouse or trackball or the pen or or the pen tablet or touch screen. This game can tell. Just you try different devices on this game, you will immediately know which one is most intuitive, easy to use for beginners, and which one is the utmost efficient once you have some practice. This game. So a lot of people have been playing this game. This guy is a trackball genius. Okay, he used the trackball to play this game. Fascinating. Then people have recorded, with a pen. This is actually the most efficient for play this game. Yeah, with this, how you test it. Let's say 1,000 people. 1,000 people. You have 1,000 of them using the pen, 1,000 of them using the mouse, 1,000 of them use the trackball. Those with the pen will have the highest score by far. Okay. So this is actually the most efficient in terms of from going from place to place on the screen, but not. Yeah, I would say yes, but not necessarily for first-person shooter. But anyway, that's getting complex. Okay, so let me get back to the topic. So there are also people using the touch screen. So you can see I have, I searched and collected video recordings of different people using it. Then this guy is using a touchpad, and this guy is using the gamepad joystick, which is very bad. Okay, for these. So and the last one is funny. These games are amazing. They have, this is a bonus point. So this game is one of the best way to actually test scientifically which of these devices is the most efficient at the task of going from one precise point to another point on the screen, and also drag, because sometimes you need to drag. Okay, so it turns out, for my, I always have a heart for trackball, because why? Because mouse, you cannot see the technology, it's just a piece of things that moves. But meanwhile, trackball has the attraction, the trackball, it's like the steampunk. You can actually see the technology because you see the ball and you can move it. That's a huge attraction. But despite my enthusiasm for trackball, I find that, really trackball is not that much better. Mouse is actually better. Trackball is better in the sense it's more intuitive. Okay, for beginners, it's more intuitive. But other than that, okay, there are other minor advantages. For example, if you are on a warship, so let's say if you are on a ship. Trackball, who invented trackball? Trackball is invented by a Navy, Canadian Navy. In the beginning, it's a huge bowling ball. You can see, you go to Wikipedia, the article trackball, you can see the history, okay? Beginning, it's a giant bowling ball. It's invented by the Navy, okay? So in the sea, you cannot have a mouse because the sea tilts, so the mouse, you'll be moving, so that's no good. So you need something stable. So trackball. And it's intuitive, and it's and for many people, trackball is also less hand pen inducing. It's more ergonomic because you don't have to hold it. That's yeah. So in general, trackball is more ergonomic. But for me, because I have a special technique to hold the mouse, I don't palm holding is the worst technique. Okay, that creates RSI. You don't want to palm hold. You want to claw, And in fact, most of the time, you don't put your hands on the mouse at all. That's what I do. And also I have Hoover activate window. That's a fantastic feature. You want to have that. Okay, so you can go here, software, and I tell you techniques to how to do that on Windows or Mac or Linux. Okay, where do I show it? Let's see, somewhere here. Okay, let's search for Linux. Okay, mouse hover to raise window. Okay, so let's copy that. Okay, I'm kind of rambling all over. I need to not coherent. So there's a then there is, okay, so that's Linux. Then there is Mac, and there is Windows. Okay, so here's how you do it. Hover to activate window, Mac, and here's how you do it. Hover to activate window, Windows. Okay, so show in today's talk show page, you have links there. Okay, so hover to activate window, that's a great thing. Okay, also you want to you want to make everything single click. Okay, no more double click. Double click is 1990s thing. Okay, if you can make it single click. But however, there's a complexity, because if you are on a tablet, lots of these techniques does not apply. So on a tablet, if you set things to have single click, then you have a problem with selection. So anyway, on desktop, single click is best. Okay, no more double click. So actually, so let me also copy this article. Okay, so let's go back to the trackball versus mouse thing. Okay, so I talked about this, how to test efficiency of trackball or mouse or pen input. Okay, then mouse versus trackball we talked about. In general, I'm disappointed with trackball. So my enthusiasm with trackball. So anyway, that's some of my take. Okay, so I got this trackball. I thought it's a new one. I bought it, but it turns out actually I still need the mouse. I mean, the mouse is just better. Okay, because I'm going to use it every day. Then for me, I'm gonna stick with mouse. Why? Another important reason is that, like I talked about yesterday, with the mouse, you have, for every trackball, okay, so here is basically almost all trackballs you can buy on the market today. Then you also have trackball history. Okay, so let's look at trackball history. So these are since 1990s trackball history, and this game is fantastic. I played it in 1984. This Marble Madness, this fantastic game. It's built. The machine has two trackballs there. So yeah, I want to say, so let me show you. So trackball histories, lots of trackball, but for every trackball you see on the market, there are 100 more mouses choices. Okay, so that's an issue. Because the trackball market is very small, and one of the consequences of that is that even though you see lots of trackball, but actually there are not many, because all the trackballs you see here on my page, they do not have the onboard memory programmable feature. Okay, some of them do have. For example, the do-it-yourself, which cost like $200. For example, Ploopy. Okay, this cost something like $200. This is new. Just beginning with the do-it-yourself kind of thing. They are program. Okay, so here, so you can actually buy pre-made. So for example, shop now. $200. Okay, so full kit for a kit. $140 for fully assembled. $210. Okay, so you see, that's a problem. and this is only one of them. So if you actually buy this one, then you have onboard memory. So that means you can program the keys or even the ball. I'm not sure, but you can program the keys for sure and the scroll wheel to do whatever you want. You can program the macro, but even you don't need that because you only have 5 buttons, on the trackball. So that's a problem with the trackball. Okay, you don't have many choices, very limited. You don't have onboard memory. All these commercial ones, for example, this one, high quality, $150, no onboard memory. You cannot program the buttons. And also if it only have 5 buttons, programmability is not important because all those 5 buttons, their original function is useful. You don't want so programmability of the mouse or trackball becomes critical only when you have more than 5 buttons. Okay, vast majority of these trackball only have 5 buttons. So programmability doesn't even come in with a picture. For example, the one I have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But I need programmability. That's the thing because I have mouse. For example, the reason I bought the trackball is because because I'm using this wireless Bluetooth mouse for my tablet. Okay, it only have one USB port, so I need it to be Bluetooth, not the USB dongle wireless. I need to be Bluetooth, so you don't occupy the port, USB port. So I have this one, but the problem with the mouse is that sometimes on bed there's fabric, it does not track. I have to smooth out the fabric. So I thought maybe I should get a trackball so I don't have that problem. But turns out I need, for example, this one is got like 10 buttons, 10 or 12. I need a button to close the current window. For example, right now I press a single key. I can do it on the mouse too. For example, let me show you my mouse again. So you can see. Okay, so you can see. You see. Now where do I put it? Okay, here. So I can. Okay, here. So I need to, for example. So you see, I press this button to close the current window. Okay, I need that. That's a great feature. Okay, because if you don't have that, then what you have to do is you have to move carefully to the little cross. Then you have to make a click. So you have to look, and click. That's no good. Because look, on my hand is on the mouse. I can close whatever current window. I just closed 5. And on my keyboard macro, I can reopen them. Okay, so let me show you. So this reopen. There we have it. Close, reopen, or I can use the mouse, close. But I don't have the mouse, the current mouse only have like 9 buttons, not enough. So I have to press this key to reopen. Another thing I really need is, for example, now let's look at the mouse again. Okay, so you see, I have so many tabs. I want to switch to previous tab. So normally I can just switch tab around, and don't like this one, close, reopen. So I need those features. Without those, you have to move your hand and aim and look. Okay, that's a issue. So I wish, if there's a lot of trackball makers, I wish I can buy a trackball. I wish I can buy a trackball that has 10 buttons, and I can program it, but you won't find it. So there's no such. So, and plus trackball is not really that efficient, so trackball is actually, and then you have to clean it every month, so despite my love for trackball, so it's not that great. Okay, that's it for today, I think. Anything else? So what do you think about the one that is only a ball and you click with your keyboard? Okay, so we get into complex questions. You see, lots of these trackball, beginning about 2 years ago, the newer do-it-yourself trackballs, they begin to have the idea where you just have one trackball, no buttons. You see, for example, okay, the picture is too big. For example, here, do-it-yourself. Just one trackball, no buttons. Okay, then you can also see the okay, this guy is making it. Then you can also see the Plooper is also doing it. Okay, so I don't have a picture of, you can see it on their website. I showed that before, so you can see this model. This, all you got is a trackball. There's no buttons at all. So how do you press the button? Well, the thing is, with do-it-yourself keyboards, so these people, so you use your keyboard. So your keyboard, part of your keyboard, for example, let's look at a keyboard guide, keyboard blog. For example, we showed this Japanese guy. So the buttons are on your keyboard. So in my case, for example, I have lots of macro pad, which is actually, I can show you, which I can show you here. You can see, you see, this is actually a click. Okay, let me see if I can show you that. Yeah. Okay, so this is left click, this is right click, this is middle click. So let me move my mouse to the window so you can, let's for example, I go here, I move the mouse to the link here, then I click. You see, it goes to Twitter, but I have JavaScript turned off. So let's go back. Okay. Oh yeah, close this. Okay, so left click, middle click. So middle click is useful, so I can open it in a new page. So I just click that and I move to the new tab. Okay. So that's the thing about these trackballs with just one ball, no button. So you need, either your do-it-yourself keyboard typically, yeah, or programmable keyboard. So it can work because with do-it-yourself keyboards, you have lots of variations and situations, or it can work well. So in fact, I just showed you my mouse click on the keyboard. So that even furthermore reduces my need to click the mouse button. So because clicking the mouse button is one of the major reasons that the mouse causes RSI, especially drag. Just like the chord keys, Control Alt, those kind of things. And when you do drag on the mouse, you have to hold it, put pressure, and keep your finger in that stressed situation for a while. Then you drag. That's causing RSI. And also putting your hand always flat on the mouse. Most people, palm users, especially palm grasp users, you put your hand on the mouse all the time. That's no good. Don't put your hand on mouse. Okay, just touch it when you need to. Same thing for the trackball. This way, you don't get the mouse hand. Okay, less swearing. Okay, because Google censorship. G520 is not perfect for you. So in what way the G520 is not perfect for you? Okay, I can tell you. Well, basically because it doesn't have enough buttons, okay? G520. So this one doesn't have enough buttons. It only have, besides those standard ones on top, it only have, okay, 2 thumb buttons and one more, 3 thumb buttons here, and 2 more on the top left, okay? Not enough, because one is back to previous page browser, okay, back to previous. The other one is close current tab. The other one is copy. Then the top 2, I have them as previous tab, next tab, okay? Not enough. I need one for paste. I need one to, not enough to, for example, undo the last closed tab. So not enough buttons, that's a problem. But however, the other one, okay, so I'm with this Mushroom Kingdom idiotic shirt. Someone gave it to me, but I don't think this suits me. So this is my old one, 10 years old. It's not good, okay? So this wheel makes a scratchy noise, very annoying. Very annoying. This one is not much better. Okay, back to the mouse. So I got this one. This one's got much more buttons, like 4 more buttons than the G502. So you got 6, 6 on the thumb and 2, But however, the problem with this one, actually, this one is less ergonomic. Okay, so let me explain. So you go to mouse. So so it's this one versus that one. The G502. The buttons are lighter, okay? My photos are not so great. But anyway, the buttons are lighter than this one. This one, it takes much more force to press the side buttons, and that's no good. Ideally, so I have some idea about the ultimate mouse. I have not seen any other people done it, and I wrote about it a little bit last few days ago. So the ultimate mouse, that's gonna take some time to explain. The ultimate mouse, first of all, what you want is, let me show you, okay? So first of all, what you want is, you want light buttons, okay? What I mean by light, you want them to be here, okay? So here is someone, someone using the keyboard key switches as mouse buttons. So there's a do-it-yourself, and some of these are ideas, and this guy actually did it. So he modified. He modified the mouse so that now it has keyboard buttons on it. And here's a sketch, by some other guy. And then another guy made this one. And another guy made this one. The idea is that you want keyboard switches on the mouse. Why? Because keyboard switches are much lighter. So why? That's for ergonomic purposes, because you have to use this, when you use it 8 hours a day, you want lighter switches. Like yesterday I talked about why lighter switches is important. But for a mouse, you probably want something clicky, like blue switches. So you want it to be 45, maybe 50 grams, 50 grams or 60 grams switch. Those are still lighter than the mouse buttons, so-called the mouse buttons. They are called Micron or something, Micron switch. It's a company who makes the mouse switches. So that's a summary. So let me copy that, okay? So copy that, go to Xah Talk Show, paste it here. Then we talked about, then go back to the mouse. We talked about that versus that, close, okay, close, wait, undo, copy that, back to Emacs, paste it, back to browser, close it, copy here, what? Yeah, paste it, close, copy here, paste it. Okay, we talked about these these two mouses, okay? This one versus that one. This one is, the buttons are harder to press. But otherwise, this one is pretty good, okay? It's wireless, also Bluetooth. This one also have wireless version, but it's very expensive, $105 or something. So between these two, there are pros and cons. This one is more ergonomic, but not many buttons. It has wireless version, okay? This one is much cheaper, like $40 cheaper, and plus it has more buttons. But however, the buttons are harder to press, and the shape, I prefer this one, okay, the general shape. Okay, that's it for today. So if you like my stuff, go to my blog, keyboard website and stuff and buy it, okay? Let me paste it here. Go there. If you are in USA, buy it for my Amazon links. Or you can PayPal me, PayPal, go to my website, you'll see my PayPal and Patreon links. Or you can buy my Emacs tutorial and JavaScript in depth. Okay, that's it. Let's see, I'm gonna shut down in 1 minute, I guess. We talked about, we talked over an hour. So I'm going to shut down now. I'm just going to shut down. So we talked about that. I'm going to clean up my my talk show page and shutting down. So if you have last words, post it there, okay? 14 people watching. I think I had a bird brain moment. I mean, well, not a moment, but for the past 30 minutes, I've been rambling in an incoherent way. Richard Stallman, he no longer types much. He got RSI. If we want to talk about Richard Stallman, he got RSI in the 1980s, okay? And 1980s, back then, throughout 1990s, I read every article Richard Stallman ever wrote on the Free Software Foundation website. Free Software Foundation in the 1990s. I was a fan of Richard Stallman, and I was a proponent. I was advocate of the Free Software Foundation. Their ideology. What do you know? I'm young, just like you guys. Okay? So I was a fan. I support Richard Stallman. So I have read every article on the Free Software Foundation or GPL. The GNU, website in the 1990s. Everyone, or basically, essentially every one of them, whatever they have there. I've read everything. Then, of course, I started to use Emacs and I read a lot. So Richard Stallman got RSI. So I have an article you can see. Okay, search for famous programmers with RSI. Okay, so there it is. Famous programmers with repetitive strain injury. So first, the biggest example is Richard Stallman. This is in the 1990s. So he got, he has an article. By the time so this article I wrote is in 2010. So by 2010, I cannot find the original article about Richard Stallman RSI. Which I have read, back then, but instead, I got a second hand from 2007 by the Michael Tiemann guy, who is founder of the Sigwin. Okay, so you are looking at history now. Today even Sigwin is dead. Nobody is using Sigwins now. But in the 1990s, it's a big thing. It's a big thing if you want to use Unix on Windows. Okay. But today, there's Microsoft has Linux on Windows. Anyway, so I got a secondhand information. I mean, this guy, Michael Tiedemann, the founder of Sigwin, he wrote about Richard Stallman, RSI. But however, Richard Stallman himself has an article, I forgot where, I cannot find it, by 2010. Anyway, so Richard Stallman. So anyway, but since 1990s, since about year 2000, Richard Stallman basically stopped coding. He became the guru, the gospel, the guru, like those new age gurus. He can fly. He can fly. He just sit there, and he just talk, and you give him money. That's what he has become. He just sit there, do nothing, and money comes to him. The gospel of communism. Free Software Foundation. Then another biggest example is Jamie Zawinski. I was kind of an admirer of Jamie Zawinski, JWZ. He's more known as JWZ. I have like 10 articles about JWZ, okay, throughout the past 20 years. And I've emailed him. We exchanged email maybe 3 times, 5 times. So JWZ, XahTV JWZ, where do we, okay, I guess you don't even find the, how do you spell his name? Jamie, Zawinski, okay? So anyway, I have about like five articles about this guy, JWZ. He become very, very famous, of course. So here you can see some of my articles. So he is also a biggest example of RSI. You read his story written like in 1999 before there's a word blog. He's a giant. He's one of the guy very dramatic. Okay, like in the open source software community or free software community, there are few people who are very dramatic. For example, the most famous are Richard Stallman, of course, although he's not drama for drama purposes. He's not intentionally creating drama, but he's one of the dramatic guy because of his behavior and so on. Eating food. Richard Stallman. Jamie Zawinski is one of the dramatic, flamboyant. Okay, he's actually also an asshole in his behavior. I think he's okay guy. Okay, ethically he's a not bad person, but he's one of the very dramatic person, and he write a ton like me blog. Before there's a word blog. He write a ton, okay? Then when he talk, he attack people, he attack things, he talk dramatically. Jamie Zawinski. Of course, he's out of the programming industry professionally for 20 years by now. He opened the bar, and today I don't think he still code that much. He started his own bar, but unlike Richard Stallman, he still code. Jamie Zawinski still code. When he began a bar, he became very rich after Netscape. So he started a bar or club or whatever. Then he keep talking about things about, Then the problem with him is that, I liked him, okay. But back about 4 years ago, when the Trump issue, the social justice began, versus Trump, Trump, U.S. election, I had an exchange. There's an incident between me and him, and this guy Jamie Zawinski. When it comes to kind of personal opinions, he's an asshole. Okay, so he just basically I talked. I should. Anyway, I wrote about it. You have to. I think you still can find it. I wrote about it. Anyway, he's an asshole. So So anyway, so he's one of the most famous people who got RSI. Very bad. Okay, to the degree, basically your programming career is done for. Then there is you still use Sigwin, okay? Then there is Ben Wing, who is the Emacs coder, the lead Emacs coder. When it comes to Emacs, most people think of JWZ because he's the most dramatic, stealing the spotlight. But Ben Wing is the other leader of after JWZ, okay, after 1990s. Ben Wing, okay, he's got even worse RSI. He to the degree that basically that ended his programming career. Okay, then there's this guy John Osternaut, who is the creator of the TCL programming language. He doesn't talk much. He's not a dramatic guy. So back then when TCL was famous all over, in around year 2000, he became famous too, and he wrote an article or two. But he basically he doesn't talk. He's not a dramatic guy. Okay, he's a professor, and he's a VI user. Okay. So anyway, so that's about that. So that's it. That's it. But so I wanted to talk about actually. So every time I start a video, I have actually quite a lot to talk about. So we haven't get into the issues and intricacies of pen computing. Okay, so the question is which pen are better. For example, you have this type of tip, you have this type of tip, then you have this type of rubber tip. You probably have seen that. Then you have this active pen which takes a battery. You can turn it on. You can see a light there. You see. So what's the differences? Which one is better? I have to talk about that. I didn't know about them until 2 years ago. I started to use them, and pen computing is fantastic. Okay, I also have a tablet. So that I can Okay, that's it for today. Donate. Don't forget.